You guys, I cannot express to you how awkward I feel sitting right here right now. Like, okay, so two things. Awkward, but also like not awkward at all. If any of you have been here for any amount of time, that will not be a surprising thought for you. That I can be two contradicting things at the same time. You're like, yeah, obviously that's just who Sarah is. If you're new here, you'll be like, what is this crazy woman about? I'm a walking contradiction so many of the times. It's just the way it is. So, I don't even really know where to start. So what we're going to do, because I've been for weeks now, it's not even for days, for weeks now, I've been needing, like it's not even wanting, it's needing to be here with you guys, but at a complete loss on how I jump back in. After having been gone for as long as I have, like there's so many things that we should talk about. But also so many things have happened in the world. And I guess for any of you that came to this video not knowing that I had a YouTube channel and have just like been my friends on Instagram for a while, hi, welcome. My name is Sarah. I used to film videos all the time and then I stopped for some reason. Anyways, for either of you, here we are today, hi. I have been quiet for the last I want to say it's been over a year on YouTube, but for the last few weeks on Instagram, because I've kind of been at a loss for what to post. There's so much I want to say and the longer I waited, the more I wanted to say, and the less it felt like I could do that in a post. So my amazing friend Noelle, who if you've been here for a while will know very well, and if you haven't been here before or in a while, you won't know well, or you won't know that she started a new channel. So I will put Noelle's new channel down in the description, right? That's what this thing's called. Yeah, I think the place where I can like add information that you guys can go. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. That's how long it's been. Did they change how YouTube works while I was gone? Very probably. Anyways, I will put her new channel down there. She started like a costuming channel, so she vlogs. She's still herself, and it's awesome. You just get more of her in like a great way. I would definitely go check her out. I also check her out on the like associated Instagram page, because a lot that we're going to talk about in today's video, she does a much better job at doing than I do, and it's all this like conversation about social advocacy. So, anyways, here we are. These are like my messages to Noelle. I'm like, how have I been speaking to you on WhatsApp for 4 minutes now and I said nothing? It's gonna be one of these videos. Buckle in. And if you're not here for that, like if you don't want a rambly mess of a video, it's not for you. There's probably a lot of other content that will be better suited for you. Anyways, focus, Sarah. Why are we here? Right, because I thought that on this format I could say all the things I wanted to say. I could reconnect with you guys, and I could do it in a way that felt authentic for me and helpful and all those kinds of things. But again, as I was trying to figure out how to do this in a way that would feel, do you notice how it's gonna drive some of you crazy, but I keep like looking away because I'm kind of nervous. I should look here, so I'm looking at you guys. There's not like a screen that I keep checking. Did you guys remember that one at the beginning? I would like consistently, my screen's over here. I would like constantly look over here to make sure that I was in focus and in frame. And then I got to the point where it was annoying even as I was editing it. So I'm like, just stop. You're either gonna be in focus or you're not, and it's going to be fine. I keep looking away because I'm nervous. So with that in mind, I knew this would happen. We're gonna do Get Ready With Me. We're gonna go back to how I started this channel, and to a thing that feels normal here. And I'm gonna chat, and I'm gonna tell you what I'm putting on my face, and we're gonna do it this way. There will be some people joining this video that aren't part of our beauty community, who I've connected with through the running community, and I have some stuff I want to talk about there. There will be some content from that part of my life that I'm going to integrate here. So if it feels weird to you that as I'm like chatting about social advocacy and marathon goals, I'm like, and this is this product, then yeah, cool, ride with it. If you like it, stay here. If not, cool. Similarly, for those of you that are here for this and not here for the running stuff or the social advocacy stuff, also feel free. Like, this is what's so great about these videos. You don't have to pay anything to be here, and the minute it stops serving you, you can opt out. But yeah, I thought I'd do it 6 minutes in. I haven't even started. I thought by doing a get ready with me, it would feel less awkward. So I'm just gonna start. How about we do that, Sarah? How about we just start? Okay. So I'm going to start with my Maybelline Baby Skin. It's the base that I use anytime I use a base. Okay, I'm just gonna go. Great, cool. I love this stuff. If you have known me for any amount of time, you know that I'm not usually a drugstore makeup girl. Yeah, I'm a bit of a snob. But this, it's okay, I acknowledge the snobbery. Oh, look who did not. There's like sunscreen on my nose. My sister gives me grief about this all the time. She's like, when are you going to learn how to put sunscreen on your face? And I think the answer is never. That's what we're doing. Sorry, I keep like spacing out. I forget that you guys are here. You're like, Sarah, do you often talk to yourself that it's weird that you forget that you're filming? No, but I talk to Noelle often. And this happens in our messages every so often where I'm like talking on her and then I'm focusing on something else. And I space out and I'm like, oh right, we're not sitting in the same room together. I can't just do that. Primer on my face. What was I trying to say? I love this primer. It is the only primer I will buy. And it comes from the drugstore, which is great. And the drugstore is one of the places that has not been closed. So I won't go out. I've been kind of cautious about where I've been going. Also, if you watch this video like years from now, this was filmed in the midst of COVID-19. So anyways, I won't go out specifically to buy it because, I've been trying to limit my trips. But when I do have to go to the drugstore for other things, I will stock up and it's great. What is not drugstore is what I'm going to put on my face next. And I don't think it's going to become as a surprise that it's this new product. So this is my Clé de Peau Radiant Cream Foundation, Broad Spectrum SPF 27. This is an 020. This is a very expensive foundation. So while this stuff I can get between $7 and $10 a tub, take a gander. Do you know how much this stuff is? $160 Canadian. Yes, I am ridiculous. And the worst part of it is, I've done many foundation reviews on this channel because I am very picky with my foundation. I don't like anything as much as I like this. And it is a problem because who needs to be spending $160 on foundation? Nobody. Who wants to be spending that? Also nobody. But who loves this foundation very much? And as long as it doesn't break my budget, we'll continue to buy it. My problem though is that Clé de Peau, they've closed their online presence in the midst of all this. And up until recently, the department store that carried this was closed. They've just opened and they've been sold out since the beginning of COVID, of this product. They still haven't brought it in stock. I still would prefer to get it online. I would do a click and collect for it, but I've got to wait for it to come back in stock. So, we're really great. It's not an actual problem. I'm not even going to call it a first world problem because it's not actually a problem. It's I love this foundation. I hope it comes back in stock one day and I will treat myself to a new tub of it. If any of you have recommendations, please let me know. If I have not tried it, I will attempt to try it. It's a little harder now. I've been trying not to go to Sephora and whatever. They did just open recently, but I'm trying to limit my trips out into the public. But if it's something I can order online or get at the drugstore when I'm there anyways, I'm totally game. Okay, we're gonna talk about other stuff, weren't we? Okay. Here are the things I want to say. Oh, right, I gotta say the things. Wear a mask, social distance, be kind to each other. Black Lives Matter. arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor. Like, I don't know how any of these things still need to be said, but apparently they still need to be said. And if any of those things offend you, then this is not the place for you to be. I feel like my channel has been a place that I kind of avoided some of that talk, not intentionally, but just potentially because I was scared of saying the wrong thing, I think, in part, and then in part because I wasn't angry enough about anything the way that I'm angry now, you know? And I think that's also why I was quiet. Oh, sorry. This is the Tarte Shape Tape in, I don't know, light, I think. Fair. Fair is what it is. This stuff lasts forever. I've had it forever, and it's going to last forever because I only ever use a little bit of it. Yeah, so the rage that I felt about all these things recently has been part of the reason that I've been absent as well from my socials, is because I want to be angry so that I'm connected, right? And like engaged and wanting to do and say things. But I also needed to come down from the rage so I could have a conversation. I'm deciding that we're gonna cancel culture. I think deleting people and companies and interactions from your life because they don't agree with you is not useful. So my caveat to that, like I keep saying, if this is not for you, like X out. My caveat to that is if someone just wants to be confrontational and just, you know, wants to be insensitive and not be here for a conversation, then cool, move along with your life. But I have found genuine value in being like, hey, you know, let's spend some time having a conversation. Do I think that that conversation entails whether or not you should wear a mask? Or believe that corona is a real thing? Or think that those cops need to be arrested? Or that there's value to human life irrespective of your color? No, like I don't think those things are up for conversation. I really don't, because there's science and there's truth and there's fairness. So those things, yeah, I don't know that we're gonna be able to have like a confrontational conversation about it that goes anywhere necessarily. But I will say that like there's an education process, you know, that happens in different people sharing different experiences and learning from one another that way. And so I'm here for that. I'm not here again to argue on whether or not you should believe the science that comes out of, you know, all this pandemic research, or, you know, the fights for justice and equality. I think if you don't believe in the sanctity of human life and all humans are equal and should be treated as such, then again, no room for a conversation. But do I think that there's validity to describing different experiences and different shared truths and learning from one another and learning from our, like my contribution to a conversation about racism and the ways that I may or may not have interacted with them is going to be very different than somebody else of a different ethnicity and skin color and location, right? So I think there's value in those kinds of conversations. My next makeup item may be controversial and Noelle will yell at me, but such is life. I'm going to use the Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour Palette. I would like to say that I bought this palette before she came out as being an anti-vaxxer, and I will not repurchase it once it's done, knowing that she's an anti-vaxxer, especially as we live through a global pandemic. However, I have it, I paid money for it, I'm not throwing it in the garbage. So, there. That is something we can also have a conversation about. Do you have products from her or anybody else? And what has been your approach to how you handled, you know, a situation where somebody owning a brand that you support turned out to have, I want to say moronic. I feel like I shouldn't, but I can't with the anti-vaxxers. Anyways, how have you dealt with that? Yeah, I think in this whole situation of COVID and these fights for equality and justice, my biggest thing has been around education, is educating myself, realizing how ignorant I have been about certain things. So when I say go check out Noelle's Instagram, it's because she's been posting amazing links and articles and people to follow and voices to listen to. And I'm there for that. I will also say that if you need a hug, like if you need a warm hug, if you were having a tough day, go check out Tabitha Brown. That woman is a warm hug in an Instagram video. I don't even know how else to describe it. She's just a phenomenal, awesome, great human being. I think the other place that I have found that I need to be involved in this conversation is being involved in the conversations, having a conversation about it. And like I said, for me, that starts with education, because I can't have informed decisions with the people in my life if I don't know facts. And for me, it's been like, hey, how about this new thing I learned today? Did you know that being an interracial couple was illegal in the States up until, I just learned the stat, you guys. I'm bad. I'm doing the thing that I'm here telling you that conversation by education is important. It's like 1975 in some states. In Alabama, I want to say. I'm going to go fact check that, and I'll put it in the description box. But it was like, things like that will come up, and I'm like, how? What? Why? We're going to have a pause. What makes a human being feel like they are any more valuable than another human being just because of the shade of their skin? I do not understand. There are people in the world that exist out into the world who believe that. And I cannot fathom it. Like, I feel like for the longest time, these stats are so staggering to me, because I'm like, people can't actually think that. Like, you cannot actually just inherently be like, because I am white, I am better than a black person. What? How? What? Why? Like, seriously? I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm just like baffled. Anyways, so I think a lot of my initial conversations have come from this place of like, can you imagine? And what's interesting is that I know people from all walks of life, okay, not all walks of life, but varied walks of life, and very varied backgrounds. And so what's been the most interesting is not the conversations in my vacuum where people are also angry. We're gonna put some more bronzer on. My friend Kristen, who is running in makeup, whose channel I'll also link below, put this filter on her Instagram the other day. I told this video is gonna be all over the place, but she put this filter on her Instagram the other day, which has this like woman with like tons and tons of highlighter and like these giant fake lashes, and she keeps laughing at how ridiculous that looks. And I'm like, oh, you don't know me in this stage. That is what I strive for. I'm either like there's no makeup and it's sweats, or it's like a full face also still in sweats. So I had a good chuckle at that. I keep losing my train of thought, by the way, which is why I keep stopping. I'm like, what were we talking about? Right, so I think the conversations in my vacuum where people agree with what I'm saying and like share my, what do you call it? It's not aggression, that's not the word I'm looking for. Oh, you're all gonna type it at me in the comments. How is this actually a thing? Whatever that feeling is, you know, because me in English sometimes. Those are good, they're cathartic. But what's more interesting and more powerful is the conversation someone goes, well, I don't know about that. And then we have a conversation. I will give you an example of that. This is one of those bronzers that I could bathe in. What is this? Heat Wave by Estee Lauder, which Noelle gave me because she had some backups, and I love it just as much as I didn't want to. I was like, what's all the hype? It's great. Anyways, so I will give you an example. I had a conversation the other day with some people at work once the defund the police movement had kind of taken off. And what had just happened, interestingly enough, at work that day, was that we had an individual who had overdosed. And it happened to be on, in a place where we were the ones that had to make a call out, right? And the police in that instance, I will also remind you all that I live in Canada, so our conversation is a little bit different than the conversation happening in the States. Do you see how much highlighter? It's so great, I love it. This is the conversation, we're gonna jump from like that to this. Are you here for it? Because if you're not, I don't blame you for piecing out. Anyways, so the police, I will give them credit, did an amazing job that day. They showed up and they made sure the individual got the medical care that they needed in that moment. I don't know what happened after that, obviously, because there's confidential information, but they made sure that that individual wasn't carted out aggressively in a cop car. They were gently, you know, we had all the different organizations that in my city deal with the aggressive drug issues that are happening. They had them show up. They had them, you know, supported in leaving the site that way. They made sure that the individuals that were there working felt safe as they helped clean up the area. And then they sent a few patrol cars throughout the day just to make sure that, because it all started with a threat, right? Like the one of the individuals that was with this person that was in distress because of having an adverse reaction to the drugs they were using came at somebody who was trying to park in their stall in an aggressive way. So in that way, it was a positive interaction, I will say. What am I putting on my face now? Shimmering Skin Perfector Pressed Blushed Copper from Becca. And so the comment arose that, what are you talking about, defund the police? It's going to be a weird conversation to have as I'm putting blush on and like smiling. What do you mean defund the police? Look at what the police did today. And I had to take pause and I had to figure out how to have the conversation in a productive way in that way, because I still think that there is great merit to the movement. And so Noelle's voice, I told you, Noelle is the hero of my story. What came into my mind, and we were able to have a very productive conversation with my colleagues that day where I go, can you imagine, yes, the police showed up today and we were all grateful for them, but the police didn't do the job of the police. The police had to be healthcare workers and social workers and police and bylaw, like all in the same time, right? So obviously the amount of funding that they need to do all those jobs would be what it is, totally. But could you imagine if we let police officers just be police officers and let other people do their other jobs? And in that way, it's not like let's take money away from an entity that's here to serve and protect, which I don't think is actually the tagline for them in Canada, but rather let's let police officers just be police officers and let everyone else come in and step in. But to do that, there has to be a reallocation of some sort, right? And we were able to have a really productive conversation in that way, right? It was like, oh, yeah, we can get behind that. These are not these like taglines that we just put into the world. These are like actual conversations based in situations, and it's gonna take a lot of creative brain power and problem solving to get us to a place of solution here. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about these good conversations and these productive conversations and finding my voice within them. What else are we putting on our face? We're gonna actually use eyeshadow. I haven't used like proper eyeshadow. I've been using these like liquid, you know, like the Stila liquid something or other. But they're from Too Faced, I want to say. Anyways, I'm gonna try to play with some actual eyeshadow today, but I'm gonna start with a base, which is a Chanel base because I'm extra. It's called Rose Lame. I'm pretty sure it was limited edition, but it looks very similar to, oh, what is that one from MAC? I want to say Soft Ochre, but I don't think that's what I'm actually thinking of. If I can figure it out, I'll put it down below in the description box. Again, I think that's what it's still called. So yeah, I don't know. I'm angry. I can't believe we're still having the same conversations about the sanctity of life. This is not the conversation about, you know, the defund the police movement, but just like of inherent racism in general. I'm going to continue to educate myself and figure out, you know, where I can use my voice for good, where I can continue to have meaningful conversations that either like shift us towards a place of compassion, which we are all in need of, or that actually actuates change. I think that second one is one I'm still working on. I'm still figuring out where using my voice for actual change happens. I'm still really just trying to inform myself and have good conversations. And I realize that this is a platform and this is a series, like a set of individuals that I both have the luxury of speaking to and learning from. So I hope we can continue the conversation here as well. I do want to say that this is not, I started this channel, this is the other thing that I wanted to talk about, is I started this channel when I was kind of in an I don't even want to say really, really unhappy place, but kind of, I was lacking a social group and an outlet, like a positive, creative, happy outlet. And I've come back to this channel every time I've needed that, except recently for some weird reason. Everything's felt heavy, like the world has felt heavy and serious and intense. And I felt like this is a place of frivolity. Is that a word that arises from frivolous? And that I couldn't be here and be authentic to what was happening, but also to my need to be happy and light. And so did I have to pick a route, right? Like, was this going to be this place where I get loud and angry and do the important advocacy work? Or was this a place where we said, cool, come here and we'll put that hat at the door and then just like, you know, have a moment of levity? And then I realized that my channel has never only been one thing, and I have never only been one thing. And so why did I have to pick? So instead, you are going to probably get content like this, where we talk about silliness and makeup. We also talk about arresting the cops that killed Breonna Taylor. I'm not gonna let that go. Anyways, so that is in part what we're gonna be here for. I don't know what it's gonna look like. I think it's gonna be some chatty get readies with me. It's like those feel like a very authentic way to do this. I don't imagine a whole bunch of hauls because I haven't really been buying any makeup. I've been buying tumblers. I have like 400 million tumblers. My sister was like, do you know that there are other things to buy online other than tumblers? I'm like, yeah, probably, but it's not what I'm here for. What are we putting on our eyes? Okay, this is the Natasha Denona and other ritzy products. What is this? The 28 eyeshadow palette, purple blue. I'm in a mood to play with expensive makeup that's sat in the back of my shelf for way too long. Where are the brushes? Where are my brushes? Y'all, I forgot that this thing hates me and it stops recording after half an hour. And I also didn't realize I've been talking for that long. So here we are. I can't find the brush I want. So we're gonna use this one instead, and we're gonna take this, oh, can you see it? This color right here. No, wait, I changed my mind. This lighter color, right there. Anyways, on the makeup side of things, I think it's gonna be, like I said, a lot of chit-chatty. I promise not to give you Tumblr hauls. Unless you want Tumblr hauls, I'll probably do those on Instagram if you care. I've also been like signing up for all of the races. And in case you're wondering if like there's some secret in Canada where we're still running normal races, no, I mean like all of the virtual races. Like, it is insane. I probably have like one scheduled almost every weekend until October. So I don't know. We'll come back to that in a minute, but I don't know if there'll be a lot of hauls. I can do favorites if you guys are here for it. I don't know. You guys let me know what you want to see. But I think as I was thinking about it, it was going to be a bunch of these kind of like chit-chatty get ready with me's as a way for us to like all just sit and chat. And I feel like I miss my friends, and it would be nice to sit and, you know, I'm not gonna do any like crazy tutorials, so it's more like as you guys get ready or you're like winding down or whatever it is, it would be a cool way for us to like just spend some time together. But let me know if there's stuff that you are into and like want to see of here in that regard. The other thing that I do want to film, and I mentioned it a little bit just a second ago, is I mean, you guys have known me long enough that you know that I've been running long distance for a while. But I did a thing last January, which if you've been on Instagram, you will know, and that is that I ran my first marathon, which is not something I thought I would ever say. I also, ladies and gentlemen, ran a marathon weighing almost the heaviest I ever have. So there's some real talk for you. There's some interesting conversations to unpack. A lot of people run to lose weight, and honestly, I've done that in the past, but I decided to tackle the marathon where I was and not trying to lose weight. It is, I don't know if anyone has ever successfully trained for that distance and lost weight, but I will tell you that it is probably impossible because the amount of food you have to consume to keep up with all the training you're doing. Oh, we took a risk, you guys. We put some pink on this brush. I don't know how I feel about it. Anyways, that is probably a whole other video in and of itself. Kind of the experience that I had with my first marathon. It feels like a lifetime ago that that happened. So if you would like to watch that, you let me know and I will film that. Probably not as I'm doing my makeup. I'll just like sit here, you know, and have a chatty video with you. And if I can find pictures, there's probably pictures on my phone. January was what, like 5 years ago? I can share those as well. But yeah, so that happened and it was awesome and I really enjoyed it. I didn't document any of it. I was kind of like in my weird hiatus break from here anyways. It didn't seem authentic and I was just kind of in it. But my awesome coach, Heather, she has been documenting her journey for years and years. If you are into if you want some like primarily awesome running content, or like just a person who is happy, who will bring positivity into your life, Freudian slip, into your life. She is a source of great light. Then I will link her channel below and you should go check her out. But anyways, she was doing a review the other day on like the cameras that she uses to film while she's running. And she was encouraging all of us to get out there and document it. And I realized that like, yeah, how cool would that be, right? Like I mean, I don't regret not filming the first time I tackled that distance. Because mainly I don't believe in regret and I feel like I did as much as I could in that moment. But I think it would be cool to have that memory for me here, because I am doing a thing this January, which and Noelle told me that if I told her I was ever doing this, that she should come over and slap me. And I reminded her that we are under border lockdown, so she can't do that. But that is that I'm running Dopey this January. For those of you that know what that is, I don't know, leave like a smiley face emoji in the comments. And for those of you that don't, Dopey is where you run a 5K, a 10K, a half, and a full on subsequent days. And it is aptly named Dopey. It really is. Anyways, so I'm going to do that, and I'm doing it virtually because I decided that even if I don't know that they're going to run it. Like even though they're signing people up, I don't know that it's a thing that's actually going to happen. Like, can Florida host that many people come January? I don't know. What do I use for a broad one? I don't know. Let's just pick a color. But B, I also didn't want the pressure of like having to run it. I think my least favorite part of running the marathon last time was the pressure of having to run it at a certain pace. I'm like, that's a lot of distance to cover as an endurance sport alone. I want to try to do it just to do it, right? And see where my pace is and not be stressed out about having to keep up with something called the balloon ladies, which are basically visual pacers. Like they're visual signal of the pace. Which again, if you want to see a marathon video, I will tell you about my experience with those ladies. And you know, they're nice people, but they were stressful. Anyways, I don't know if it looks like I put anything on my eyes, you guys. I'm gonna go back. I swear to you, I will spend tons of time putting on eyeshadow, and then I'm like, this doesn't look as good as like my sparkly like liquid stuff. I'm gonna go back to that. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, training for Dopey. Right, so I didn't sign up because I don't know if it's gonna go, and because I just want to run the distance and like tackle that endurance by myself. So with that all rambly being said, I want to document that journey. So I'm going to. And I will post those videos in whatever frequency feels kind of realistic and doable. And if you guys are up for it and you like it, cool, watch those videos. If that's not your jam and you just want this stuff, then also cool. You know, I'm here for whatever you would like to do. If it gets to the point where it feels cumbersome or where it needs the like separation between two channels, one that's for my running and one that's for this, then I will do that. But for right now, I'm gonna leave this all here, like in one spot, and kind of similar to like surfing a channel or going through your feed on Instagram. If it feeds your soul and it makes you happy, then watch it. And if it doesn't, skip it until a video comes that you do want to watch. But yeah, I don't know what the frequency of those will be or how they will look, other than like, I want to share and I want to, you know, document that for myself first and foremost, and like super selfishly. So I have something to look back on, but also because I think it would be fun to share that with you. And I've gotten to connect, being a viewer of Kristen and Heather's and Laura. Oh, my friend Laura, you guys will love her. I will put her down below as well. I've had so many great, awesome interactions with the community members that connect with those YouTubers, as well as with the people creating the videos themselves. So I think that that would be a really cool way to expand our community and connect with more awesome human beings. So yeah, we're gonna do that. And we're gonna do this. And yes, Sarah is insane for wanting to run that much distance. It's okay. Everybody in my life has told me that. I'm super excited about it though. You guys, I had these giant lashes that I was gonna put on, but I don't know that that's gonna happen. I think we're just gonna put on mascara and it'll be fine. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I love makeup. I love playing with it. It's like, I don't wear it every day. But when I get to sit down and play with it, that's exactly what it is, right? It's play. Like, I haven't opened up my drawers. Like, I've been, you know, when I've been wearing makeup at work, especially at the beginning of when COVID broke out, I like had made myself like a very, like, you know, everything was like very structured. And I had like my little travel makeup bag basically that I used, and like I had a face and I put it on because it was like 20 minutes in the morning when I could, you know, do some self-care and just escape. And it was that. And then I like came back in here and I opened up all my drawers and I remembered all the fun that I have playing with Sparkle. I will tell you though, I'm disappointed with this eyeshadow. I'm like, how can such expensive palettes and so much more time than like dab and swab yield not as fun results? I don't know, guys. I will do a video, maybe in the next Security with me, I will do that face for you, the like quick 20-minute one with the very sparkly like liquid shadow that I love. Anyways, so kind of in deciding if I wanted to take a full detour from this, I knew that I would film a video to like tell you guys either way, but I don't know that I want a full detour. Like, I love this space. I love playing with makeup. I love talking to you guys as we spend, you know, a little bit of time in self-care and joy. And that's the other thing, right? Is like, as the world comes heavy, I've also realized that it's not selfish to spend time in levity and light. It's essential, right? Like, we can't go out there and be the best activists and frontline workers. I'm not a frontline worker, but you know what I mean? Like, all of the essential duties that we have to put on for ourselves and our families and our communities, we cannot do if we don't take care of ourselves. So I'm letting go of feeling selfish or frivolous or silly in taking the time to do this, to film, to talk to you guys, to put on makeup, to play with makeup. It's important. But also, I think there are other things that I want to talk about that are important, that are heavy. So I don't promise you that this is going to be a place free of that, because it doesn't feel authentic or responsible to kind of just stay in a bit of a pigeonhole, if that makes sense. You guys, it started out a lot more pink than I thought, and I had an orangey lipstick, but I'm gonna get a pink one and I'll be right back. Okay, this is Sugar Pill in Trinket. I don't know why I thought I could talk to you while I put on lipstick, so I'm gonna put on lipstick and then I will be back. You guys, I love this lipstick. It smells like citrus and it's got shimmer in it. I don't even know what I was saying anymore. Does anyone remember? Yeah, I don't know. I know that I miss you guys. Here are things I do know. I know that I miss you guys. I know that I miss having a safe and happy place to come hang out with my friends. And safe, like, not anymore just like, you know, emotional force field safe, but like physically safe, you know? How many times can Sarah say you know in this video? I also know that this has been such a beautiful, positive outlet, and I want to get back to that. I miss playing with makeup. There is this new part of my journey of happiness And that's what this was. This was never like, I mean, I think there, you may find the description that I wrote like 5 years ago to be like, this is the place where it's a beauty, blah, blah, blah. I was never a beauty vlogger. I never considered myself to be a beauty vlogger. I considered myself to be this person that wanted a friend group that extended beyond what I could find here, where we could sit and talk about things that made us happy. It would not be a Sarah video if I didn't have an itchy nostril. Give me another, I don't know, pick another emoji and put it in the description. You know how many times I've been like, I'm not picking my nose. And I'm not. I'm itchy nostrils always when I film. So it's always in a place where we can just sit and talk about things that make us happy. It happens to be makeup, and by and large. But I mean, I've done a whole series on like plays that made my soul soar when I was living in London. And right now, the thing that's keeping me sane and healthy and happy is this, which is why I want to continue to do it here. But it's also having meaningful conversations with people who I care about and whose opinions I value. And so here's another opportunity for us to do that in a variety of forms. And it's also been my long distance running. So you're gonna get a mixed bag of things. And like I said, let me know if there's things that you want to see. Feel free to pick and choose what you watch. Please engage. Like, that's the most important thing to me is the engagement in the comment section, because that's where this gains its value, really, right? It's those friendships, it's those moments of education and love and light and all that kind of good stuff that's so needed right now. So, oh, this thing is counting me down again. It's gonna kick me out. Hold on, let's see. My camera's freaking out. We ran out of space on the first SIM card, and this other one wouldn't film, and I don't know what's going on. So in an effort to not make it any angrier and make myself frustrated if this dies on me, we're gonna do a thing that I'd love to do around here, which is 3 points of positivity, to end on a positive note. It's an exercise I do every day, and I like to put in my videos, and I encourage you to leave me your points of positivity. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna sign off. So my 3 points positive for the day are: 1, getting to do this with you guys, and I haven't done it in so long, and it's a blessing that it feels so natural and awesome, and how much happier it's made me. So that's number 1. Number 2 is a full face of makeup, which it's not even how I look, it's just the act of playing with it and putting glitter all over my face always leaves me super happy. And the third one is a great 4-mile run that I had. I'm actually doing a thing this weekend, which is running a virtual full marathon, which I may or may not take you with me along to, oh, Sarah can English today. Anyways, I had a really great 4 miles today as I kind of wind down and get ready for that. So anyways, I'm gonna go before this thing gets angry. I forgot having a viewfinder is a lot of fun. Anyways, I'm gonna go. I love you guys. Let me know what you want to see. Let me know what's been making you happy these days. Let me know what's making you unhappy these days that you guys want to talk about. And I will see you later. Did I say anything else when I used to sign off? I think I did one of these. I didn't do my intro. Do you guys miss it? Do you want me to go back to it? I can. But I'm gonna go bye for now. Okay. Bye guys.